Good evening, good evening, and welcome to Counsel today with Shanrae. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Counsel today with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. We're going to let this play for a few minutes. I do not own the rights to this song. I do not own the rights to this song. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes. As you come in, please like and share. Welcome to Counsel today with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. As you come in, please like and share. All right, this is our theme song for the month. And I do not own the rights to this song. I do not. Yes. Hi, Pastor Lewis. How are you? Hi, Lorenzo. Hi. How are you? Hi, Joseph. Hi, Tanita. So good to see you all. This is our theme song for the month. Yeah. We're going to get started in a minute. Welcome to Counsel today with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. Yes. All right. We're going to go on and get started. All right. All right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Counsel today with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. Excuse me. Let me turn this down. I'm working a couple of different devices. So we're going to get started because this 30 minutes is going to go by quickly. But I do want to acknowledge, the viewers that are in on tonight. Let me turn this so make sure that there's no kind of accident here. Hi, Audrey. How are you? Good to see you. Let me see. Okay, Pastor Lewis, I did. And hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. How you doing? All right, we're going to go on and get started because this 30 minutes goes by very, very, very quickly. And we are on our second week of our topic for this week, the three components of emotions. And tonight we're going to be talking about the physiological part of our emotions. So I'm going to go on and get started with our disclaimer. I hope that everybody had a great week. And we still have the rest of the week to go, so just make your week great. All right, so my disclaimer says that please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should also be noted that due to the changes in policies that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only, and will not constitute an official determination. So information provided by myself or any other religious leader or someone with life experience are subject to the limitations of current and available material. So the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you, the individual. Information online does change frequently, and it is recommended that you, the person, will consult another physician, another specialist, or another religious leader to aid in your overall behavioral wellness. So we're going to go on and get started. Give me a minute. I'm working a couple of different devices, so I want to make sure that you all can hear me. And this is an open platform, everybody. Hi, Nathaniel. How are you? This is an open platform, so you are more than welcome to give your life experiences. If you want to ask me questions, we will stop and we will answer your questions. If there's something that you're maybe interested in or you're just inquiring about, this is an open platform. Hi, LaFlan. And so we just want to, the whole thing is we just want to make sure that we are overall just functional, happy, healthy, and joyous. And we can just spread love wherever we are in the right context. Okay, so we're going to get started. This month's topic is the three components of emotions. We are on week 2, and this is part 1 of week 2. Nathaniel said, okay, I'm doing fine. Thank you. I'm doing fine, Nathaniel. All right, so our scripture for the month is Romans 12:2, and I've chosen the amplified version of this. And it says, and do not be conformed to this world any longer with its superficial values and customs, but be transformed and progressively changed as you mature spiritually by the renewing of your mind, or focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes, so that you may prove for yourselves what the will of God is, and that which is good and acceptable and perfect in his plan and his purpose for you. So again, hi, Sister Shirley. Again, our scripture for this month's topic is Romans 12:2, and it's the Amplified Version. All right, so you all know I start with the definition of what we're talking about. So I'm going to define emotions, and then we're going to move on to the physiological part of our emotions on tonight. So this is a brief note on emotions here. And it says human beings are endorsed by motives, which we are, and as a rational being, to a certain extent, we go about satisfying them in an intelligent way. Most people do. But our life does not end with this. We're also emotional beings. Indeed, most of our affairs of everyday life are tingled with feelings and emotions, which they are. And our finest achievements or miserable failures, or our noble characters and our ugly behaviors are all directed by the emotions that we feel. So when we feel excited, we pass. If we pass an examination, a lot of times we jump for joy. Or when we graduate college or something like that, we're gonna jump for joy. And then we shout when we get angry. We do, because that's a passion that we feel. We feel sorry at death when someone that we love passes. And so we tremble when we are afraid. Joy, sorrow, fear, sympathy, empathy, love, affection are all emotions which influence our lives and our behaviors. And this is everybody. This is universal. Okay, so life would be dreary without emotions and feelings, and it really would be. It really would be. You show me somebody that have no emotions at all, and I'm telling you now, I don't want to be around them. I don't want to be around them, because it's like they're just catatonic, and that's it. They just sitting there like a zombie, So everybody has emotions. Nathaniel says, I really do appreciate the inspiration you be giving out every time you get out here, and it really does help me out sometimes. Okay, I'm so happy to hear that, Nathaniel. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you. So they people with emotions, they add color and spice to your life. Hi, Tammy, how are you? And Maurice, let me go back. I always tell you all that I am a Christian counselor, and I'm a degree counselor. My degrees come from Ashford University, so I always want to let you know my qualifications. I am qualified, and I'm a degree counselor. All right, so let's go back. So people with emotions add color and spice to our lives, to living. Proper control and expression of our emotions make our living pleasant, and Maurice, and a lack of control and improper expression leads to misery, which is true. Because I don't want to be around someone that's overly excessive emotions. If you have anger issues, I'm gonna stay away from you all. Again, this is an open platform, so please feel free to talk if you want to comment on something, or if you want to share maybe an experience that you've had. I don't want to be around someone who's overly excessively angry. I don't want to be around someone who's overly excessively sarcastic. I don't want to be around someone that's too silly. You know what I'm saying? That's just too silly. So when there's an over something, it kind of repels people rather than draw them to you. So let's finish our definition for emotions. So the term emotion is derived from a Latin verb word called movere. M as in man, O-V-E-R-E. And it means to stir up, to agitate, to disturb, or to move. So Woodworth, who is a psychologist, has defined emotions as conscious, stirred up state of the organisms. Okay, so tonight I'm going to be talking about the feelings, the feeling component of emotions, physiology. All right. So we experience changes during our emotions. We all do. Everybody does. Some people are a little bit more controlled than others, but everyone do feel emotions. We experience changes in our body and in our mindset when we're feeling emotions. So changes during our emotions are divided into two separate categories. One, the external changes, where you can see with someone's expression. And then the other one, the second one, is your internal changes. All right. So in daily life, we think of feelings, right? So the feelings are most readily evident changes in an aroused person. So let me pump my brakes a little bit. A lot of times when we talk about arouse, when we think about the word arouse, what we're thinking in a sexual kind of in a sexual sense. But arousal is just anything that'll maybe like heighten your emotions. It's not just sexually, but it's anything that would heighten your emotions. So feelings have immediate motivational significance. They give rise to many what they call physiological processes in your heart, in your cardiovascular system, which it causes your blood to pump more, your pressure to go up or down. And then changes in your sexual urge. That blood is still pumping. They also stimulate your nervous system, and they prompt widespread electrochemical activities. Now, again, I'm going to go into the definition and the process of our emotions, and then we're going to get into the behavioral part, how we feel, because we do need to understand what our triggers are, what is causing certain things. Like if we're trying to control certain negative things, we should have a better understanding of what's going on with us inwardly as well as outwardly. All right, so our external changes, people can see. I know I try to watch, because if I see somebody's facial changes, because they good, bad, or indifferent, I'm gonna kind of be a little precautious to see which way they're gonna go. So with certain external changes, sometimes their voice change. I know my voice changes. Let me see if anyone say anything. Your voice, you listen out for people's the way their voice start to change. Experiments have proved that emotions can be identified on whether how your voice starts to change, or two, your facial expressions, how your facial expressions start to change. We can identify people's emotions by looking at their facial expressions, like I said. There could be changes in their body language, like when somebody they're staring and they look at you a certain way, like what? Look at their body language. See if they're starting to stiffen up. See if they're starting to get on guard, like that. People sometimes start sweating. You can see that the wrinkles in their forehead start forming. People's eyes sometimes get red. And then sometimes people's hair starts to stand up on their body and stuff. So that's a lot of external. When I'm trying to help somebody here. Like if you're to be more aware of your circumstances, and I'm going to keep saying this because there's so much going on right now. We're seeing in the news and in the media, and unfortunately we're living in a time where we have to really and truly be more cognizant, more aware of our surroundings, maybe the people that we're maybe not, you don't even have to know them on a personal level, but if you're maybe just standing next to them in a store watching, let me give you a perfect example, and my guard was completely off. This was about 16 years back or 15 years ago. I lived way, way, way south in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived close to like you crossing almost to the Montgomery part side of Alabama. So I lived kind of far out. And I was running into a Family Dollar coming in from I was a full-time student and I worked a full-time job too. So I was running in from school, from daytime school, had to go check on my family, my kids, my husband, everything. And then had to hurry up and shower and change and then get ready to go to work. And then I worked kind of like the night, into the night shift and like that. So I had a really crazy schedule. But I ran into the Family Dollar to grab, I had to grab something for work. Oh, some gloves. I had to buy some gloves or something for work because I used to do private duty. Hey, Superwoman, how are you? Hi, Swaysa. So I had to grab some gloves because I used to do private duty nursing. And it wasn't a lot of people in that Family Dollar. But because I was on a time schedule, I wasn't watching my surroundings. So I was speaking because I knew the cashier and I knew the people that worked there. And I came in and she wasn't as bubbly as she normally was. And so I said, I spoke to the girl as I was going to pay for my gloves. And I said, you okay? You all right? You all right? And it was these two big dudes that was standing behind me online. And so I read, I thanked them because they let me go in front of them. And I thanked them. I was like, thank you so much. You know, and I was talking to her, and I was like, you're not bubbly like you normally are. Is everything okay? And she told me, she said, everything's okay. And she called my name. She said, everything's okay, Price, you know. And I said, okay. And I said, girl, you know, I'm on the run. I got to go. I got to get to work. You know my schedule. And she said, okay, have a good day. And I looked back at her, and I was like, you sure everything okay? And she said, yes. So I said, okay. And I was running out to my car. Hey, Tiffany. Got in my car. As I was pulling off, two police officers came in, and I was like, what is going on? So I had to just keep going. What I turned on the news that night. I found out that while I was in that store, in that Family Dollar, those two big gentlemen behind me was robbing the Family Dollar. They were robbing the store. They let me come in there and get my stuff. They let me come, they let me pay for it, and they let me leave, they let me go. And then they kept robbing that store. And I said, oh my God, when I say that could have turned a whole nother way, I noticed the cashier's body language, but because I was in a rush, you know, it just didn't dawn on me. And then I knew that the two big dudes behind me were like really like stark, and you know, I spoke, you know, I'm just me. Hi, how you doing? And they just said, hey, how you know, like that. And I didn't look, you know, I just didn't put the pieces together. But when I say God was good to me, okay, I'm a Christian count. God, well, he protected me, and he protected that cashier too. He protected her, but they were robbing the place. So I'm saying the reason why I'm having these type of lessons this month is because the world, the things that we're experiencing in the world today, you know, we have to just be a little bit more conscious about not just only our emotions, but the emotions of the people around us, because unfortunately, everyone cannot handle the emotions that they're experiencing, and then unfortunately they take it out on other people. So this is why I chose to do this lesson this month on emotions. All right, so we're going to move to the internal part of our emotions. And like I said, I thank God, because that could have turned a whole nother way with that incident, with that Family Dollar incident. But God was good to me and to the cashier as well. So, okay, our internal changes are all based on it's called our ANS, and it's our autonomic nervous system. All right. So what happens with our autonomic nervous system is that, again, this is things that you cannot see going on, but we can feel it though, where your heartbeat starts to increase. The rate of your breathing starts to increase. Hey, Aaron. There's a decrease in functioning, and listen to this, in your digestive system. Okay, like a lot of times when people are stressed out, one of the symptoms is that you're not hungry. You don't feel like eating. A lot of times you just don't feel like eating. Then there's some cases where people are so stressed out that they stress eat. They eat, and they may not even be hungry. But that means there's a change in your digestive system. There's changes in your brain waves. Your pupils start to dilate. And then some people get dry mouth. Their mouth get dry. You know, with these different changes. So these are different things that I want us to be aware of. These symptoms that we cannot see. I'm going to ask you all, if you all feel these type of symptoms when there's something that's out of your control, or maybe something that's happening and you're aware of. If you start experiencing any of these symptoms, we talked about last week about taking a beat to breathe in, breathe out. It may look funny, but just who cares? We don't want your health to be affected by things that maybe that are out of your control, or even things that maybe that you're aware of, but we don't want it to affect your health. Okay. So it says even exercise is a good thing. Exercise is a great thing when we're experiencing these type of things that are going on. So I just want to tell you, after the emergency or emotional situation is over, the next step is to restore the energy that was spent during that your emotional trip. So this work is carried on by, and I don't want to talk about the nervous system or whatever, but exercising is really good. Like don't sit still. Exercise reminds us that our brains, they don't operate in isolation. So what you do with your body impinges on your mental faculties. I like to walk outside now. I grew up in the city in New York. We would walk blocks and stuff like that. But as far as exercising, when I used to exercise, I would go into a gym, or I have an elliptical. I had treadmill. I got rid of that because I like the elliptical better. But then I learned, the Lord started dealing with me, and he told me to they built a new park, and start walking outside. And anybody knows me, I'm not an outside person because there's bugs out there. So, but when the Lord started dealing with me about walking outside, this was over 2 years ago, I now understand why. With me walking, and I don't have to walk with people. I like walking alone. That's my time to just sit there and just relax. And every time I walk around those tracks, everything is just winding down. Now, of course, you're walking and you're building up, whatever. But I'm saying mentally, it's such a relief, a stress reliever when I walk. So exercise, if you can find any way to exercise during stressful times, please get it in. Take that time, that personal time for you. It's imperative to just stop and take some time for you. Just take some time for you. Okay, so our time is almost up. We only have 30 minutes. Where we at? Our time is almost up. Does anybody have anything that they want to share about a situation I shared with y'all tonight, about how I did, but I didn't watch body language in a situation where I ran into a store, Family Dollar, and the store was actually being robbed at the time that I was in there. So does anybody want to share anything? I see we got some people on tonight that maybe want to share some experiences about your emotional state. And tonight, again, we're talking about the physiological part of it, where the brain, how your brain is triggered during some kind of a shock that you may experience, anything like that, and different signs to kind of look for these triggers, and so how we can kind of combat certain negative things. Now, I'm not talking about anything happy. Well, you're happy, you're joyous, but any kind of negative type of trigger. I do know that when a lot of people are under so much stress, you become forgetful. And your memory is everything. And I have seen, I've seen and I've witnessed and I've experienced and dealt with people that they've been up under so much stress that it's brought on a lot of physical ailments. Some type of not only stroke or heart attack, but I'm talking about like maybe some type of long-term disorder, autoimmune disorder. And a lot of the times, like I'm an open book. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder 4.5, 5 years ago. And I'm perfectly healthy outside of that. And when I was diagnosed, the doctors were scratching their head. And they were saying the only thing that they can come up with how this autoimmune disorder came upon me. They said that I had to be living up under a large, severe amount of stress. And they said that's what caused the autoimmune disorder with me, was severe stress. So this is something I do know personally about with stress, and everybody does not handle stress the same way. Some people explode, some people implode. They hold it in and it just starts eating away at them on the inside, eating away at their organs and different things like that, causing extra growth, cell growth and stuff like that. But the best thing in life is to learn how to combat stress, whether it's unexpected stress, or it's something that's just been a part of your life, how to combat some things. I've already talked about with my past series. I've talked about sometimes you have to remove yourself totally from a situation so you can live more of a peaceful life. But if that is not the case, then there are different other tools that we can use to combat those stress areas, different things like that. But that implosion that happens when it comes to stress, it brings on a whole lot of different issues, physical, mental, all kinds of different issues. But I have dealt with people who've had memory loss. They can't hardly function because of the stress that they have been up under. I've dealt with people who have cognitive, they have toilet issues where they go to the bathroom frequent toilet use because of the stress that they've been under, and it's attacked their nervous system to where they constantly they go to the bathroom frequently and different things like that. These are different signs a lot of the times. Now there are some health issues that cause that too, but right now we're dealing with the physiological part of the emotions, that part of your brain, the ANS, the autonomic nervous system, and the different things that may happen under a high stress type of lifestyle. So memory loss, you're forgetful. Some people lose stuff. They frequently lose things, like you always misplacing things, keys, and different things like that, where you just scattered and you're just scattered, and that's not normal. These are not normal life type of things. When you find yourself kind of scattered or just losing stuff all the time, you can't remember things, frequent toilet use, this is where your ANS, your autonomic nervous system, that part of your emotions is being affected negatively. And so again, it is imperative to guard I was taught my whole life, guard your mind, guard your brain, guard your heart, guard yourself. Don't close up and hide. But if there are people that you're affiliated with that are, maybe they're just toxic, find a way to lessen your time around them. Do not constantly keep yourself around people that are toxic or situations that are toxic. Now, again, there are jobs. Sometimes a lot of times when you're at work, a lot of times people experience toxic situations on the job. And it's easier said than done. But if you can maybe keep applying to go to somewhere else, maybe where you can have a little more peace on the job. But what I can tell you, until that time, just go to work, do your job, keep it professional, and then go home. If you got to stay to yourself, you go to lunch, separate yourself from the environment during your lunch break, come on back, and just, when you reboot yourself and do it that way. Because I know the work, a lot of times the job and the work site, you can't help all of that, what's going on with that. But what you can do is, if you're allowed to wear earbuds and just keep some serene music going, that's if you're allowed to. If not, then do your job on your break, go to your car, wind down, reboot, get back in, do the rest of your day, and go home and forget about that job until the next day. So there are some things that we cannot avoid immediately, but what we can do is we can do certain things differently. We can do things differently. Now, if someone is being harassed on the job, then yes, you go on and take the measures to protect yourself. Go to HR, do whatever you have to do. Nobody is supposed to go to work and be harassed or anything like that. But when it comes to family, affiliates, friends like that, hey, do not keep yourself in any type of toxic situation. any type of toxic situation, because it is not worth it. Your health, your mental state, anything like that is never worth it. I don't care if it's your mama. I don't care if it's your father. I don't care if it's your children, your husband, your spouse. Do not keep yourself around anything toxic, because it will start affecting you. It'll start affecting your mind, your memory, your nervous system, and different things like that. So anything that is not good, is not healthy for you, if you can just avoid it altogether, just go and be happy. Our time is up. Let me look at this. Our time is up. Yes, it is. Our time is up. And I put in the feed, let me close this. If you all have missed any of my series in the past, or if it's something that you may want to rewatch, you can go to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Shanrae Price, and then you could select any of the past series and just watch it, there. All of my series are on YouTube. So I have put something in the feed, and I am going to start theme music, because our time is up, and I will see you on Thursday night. Thursday night is part 2, and we're going to delve a little bit more into this again. I've been trying to shorten everything, guys, and keep it right at 30 minutes. Hi, Pamela, and keep it at 30 minutes, but we're going to end this with our theme song. I do not own the rights to this music. I do not own the rights to this music, but the song is Emotions by Mariah Carey. I do not own the rights to this song, and I will see y'all Thursday night for part 2 of the 3 components of emotions, the physiological. Have a good night. See you Thursday night. All right. Okay, Sandra. All right, Sandra. Good night, everybody.